All right, one, two, three. Another recap session with Flash Fun. Let's go. Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Trades. I'm just gonna go over all the trades that we had this week. It was a crazy month. It was a very solid and profitable month for equity. And the type of plays that I always alerted in my channel. Make sure to always follow my channel in Flash Fund. I alert daily, every day. You find the right setup, and we just nail and bail it. That's it. And but there's a lot of a strategy to it. There's a lot of experience to it. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. So if you really interested to know what exactly these patterns are doing, what type of patterns to look at, and how to look at your stock, and how to take advantage of the move, and pretty much understanding everything behind it, feel free to reach out to me. You can DM me through the Discord, or just like that. The best way is just DM me through the Discord. Um, yeah, for this session, I'm just going to go over all the plays that we had, as always. But I also going to kind of explain what are some tips in my plays that you can anticipate and enjoy the better profit, or kind of like understand how it works. For most of you know that when it comes down to stock trading, um, it's completely different than option trading. And I know pretty much most of the group are trading options, but a few others are also interested or still doing the equity like me always. I was a stick to one thing that I always passionate for. I was always liked it, and that was equity. And I saw a potential in small cap areas. That's why I always wanted to focus on one thing at the time. I didn't want to distract myself, even though I did traded other markets, options, future, forex as well. I have experience to those, but my main focus and my main objective in life as a full-time trader is equity. Like, this is something that I do for living. Um, and I don't know, most of you still doing it, or maybe you're a part-time trader, but um, I have been doing this for full time. But it's a good start to always look at it as a part-time, and if you have other source of income, it's always good to have this on the side. But there's nothing wrong with learning. There's nothing wrong with education. I mean, the main thing you should know is just educate yourself with the market. Um, 90% of people think stock is a scam, which is ridiculous. A lot of people, average people, they still thinking that it's gambling and all those terms that they use. It is not. It could be gamble when you don't know what you're doing. That's gamble. In anything, it's gamble when you don't know what you're doing. Doesn't matter if it's a stock. It doesn't matter if it's a business. Doesn't matter if it's, I don't know, study of something. It's always good to know what you're doing, and in order to kind of learn how to do these things and get better at it, you just have to educate yourself. You just have to put that effort towards your work. And for stock trading, it always important to know. Build your discipline in in. In a matter of time. Like, you cannot. Uh, I mean, building a discipline, it takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of energy. You gotta deal with your emotions. And I'm pretty sure that most of you guys are emotional traders. So you guys don't have any plan. You guys don't think your trend, your chart. You just don't listen to those. You just want to see a positive move, or towards whatever you want to. Like if it's short or if it's long, you just want to see the green and hope for it. So that's a hopeful trade. I mean, if you're like that, you just have to start over or and get better in some other stuff. Uh, I mean, the stock is always tricky. It's always something that you you have to learn every single time. You have to learn every single. You have to journal your trades. You have to review them. You have to study them. If you don't do that, you're never gonna understand the pattern. You're never gonna understand the strategy behind it. You're just gonna be always follow this guy, follow that guy. I mean, that's bullshit. You're not gonna make it out. I'm just being honest with you guys. But for experienced trader and those people that are follow the smart money, those people that are discover, or in other words, saying that they dig deep into figuring out how to find their edge. For those people, this is the best income source. This is the best thing in the world. I mean, a lot of you probably heard this too much and many times. Stock markets. If you're a good trader, you can make so much money, more than a doctor. That's the fact, and it's not a theory. It's not something that it's been out there. It's been putting out there for such a long time, and uh, those 3% or 10% people who are successful in trading or day trading are they know that. So yeah, keep in mind, always there's always these stuff uh, that comes into the play. So let's get over our trades. I'm just gonna keep it short. I don't want to really. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about, but if you guys have any specific question, I would be more than happy to get to you guys in person. I mean, in DMs. You can also have a session with me. I teach you guys how to find these patterns, find these strategies, and learning more about the day trading equities and the stuff that we trading. These trashes, these garbage companies. They make the higher margin, a higher profit for me, for us, and all that. So we traded DATS. I think at the beginning of the week on Monday. That was very solid. This was one of those play that I personally liked. I think it was hey, it was Monday, and we had this alert from 218. Easily, we took the third PT afterwards. This was one of those stock that I always look at the pattern I mean, I think that's had a PR on Monday, and it's just kind of like one of those play that you just you just have to be super fast into your trade, and you will see a faster move on it. You just have to have your position and make sure you are scaling in and out. And if you're trying to scalp, but if you have a certain average that you want to see, certain level, certain price, uh, you just have to stick to it. Just don't change your plan. And yeah, that was that on Monday, which was very massive. And the stock went to 90%, pretty much 90%, and didn't quite reach to the 100%. But you know, you should not ever expect something out of these garbage companies. These are low float, low cap, and mostly they have negative income. They don't have anything to provide. Rarely you would see a few of them made it out to become, some sort of a successful company. But we don't care about that. We don't care about the fundamental. We're just trading technical, and that's it. And another one we had was HYMC. I believe we yeah, this was a tricky one. This was one of those trades we had a we couldn't we couldn't reach to the level that we wanted. And I'm looking at it right now. The entry that we have is 305. When was it? Tuesday. So the Tuesday we traded. I think it was a pre-market play, but the market was very much dry. And but the reason that I actually played the HYMC was AMC was running, and they had this relationship together. So HY, well, I believe AMC founder, they invested into this company HYMC, which I believe there are related, energy related at some sort. Let me take a look at their um, no. Mm, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think it was oil related. I don't want to take much time on this. So whatever they, my point is just whenever the AMC was moving, HYMC was moving, it was kind of like sympathy play at some point for a certain time, not all the time. This is not a case. Remember, when you see something like that in market, you should not always say, oh, when this thing move, the other one must move. There's no must. There's no, there's nothing that you can predict. There's nothing that you can make sure. But for a certain time, you can see this coloration and you can see this relationship between two stocks, especially when it comes down to one big cap stock, like AMC, and there's one stock company, and there's a company that related to the stock. Same thing as we're seeing in inverse ETFs, but it's not like that. Inverse ETF is always inverse ETF. That's what it calls. So figuring out how these moves are works, it's a very exclusive. It's very exclusive knowledge to just knowing that. Yeah, that's it. And HYMC no go that on that one. I think we didn't reach our PT. Unfortunately, that was an unfortunate move. The crack happened on the Tuesday, and then we're just waited for the better setup, which happened to be DATS again. DATS. We played it on the Monday, the day before it, and then once again, I alerted for the second day, and that was very much nice. Even though, as you can see on when you look at there we go. Okay, that's it. When you look at their pattern, you kind of want to make sure that this is not a bounce, in dead cap bounce, and you don't want to get caught up into the short setup. So you always want to see your value. That's your main key. That's one thing that I always say. Have your value, and I saw that was a previous runner on the previous day, and there was some bag holders. Obviously, the bag holders want to pump this stock, and we took advantage of it, and it was a fast and quick small profit on Tuesday. Took advantage of it from 249, and we hit easily we almost were on the second PT, but a lot of people still concerned if they should take the profit near the target. Of course, I always say that if you're not comfortable with your average, if you want to, I always say that take your profit. Don't hold and hope. Even if you're pattern there, you always have to take your profit into the strength. And take a look at it. Look at this. There's a resistance here, and this stock trying to break, but every strength that happened, this stock pulling back. So this is your opportunity to take your money out. Take some of your money out. You don't want to cry for the break. Of course, when we see the break, we will see more because that's a gap that we'll feel. But for you have to have a reasonable plan. Your plan always comes with the time of the market. You always have to. That's another thing. You have to keep on watch your time. The time is really important key factor here. If you're going through the afternoon, what are you expecting to see? Lowest supply and demand, obviously lowest value. You don't want to kind of stuck into that. But if you're comfortable with it, by all means, do whatever you think. But that's a wrong way of trading. You don't want to hold and hope. That's the thing I always mention into the group. So that was a secondary play, very nice. And we had SNOA. We didn't play that. SNOA was something I was expecting to reach to the break, but unfortunately didn't even gap up to the area that I wanted. So SNOA never had this sexy value. What I was looking at, I mainly watched my times and sell on level two. I didn't see a quiet nice bid to come in. So when you look at your level two, you always want to see a bigger bids coming when the stock is at the lowest level. If it's stock at the highest level or is at the resistant, when you see a big bid, you kind of want to reconsider your thought because that bid could be a bid prop and drive the price down. That's a short play. So you don't want to think about that. These are the tips that I'm giving you guys. That you should take advantage of it. I mean, if you have the platform, if you have the software, if you have the advantage of all these, you can be successful in this crap. So always make sure to have all these advantages. A lot of people don't have level two. A lot of people don't care about the level two. A lot of people don't care about the time to sell. You always have to care. You always have to look at it because that's where the order comes. That's where the buyers and sellers dealing with. I mean, chart is one part, but your level two is the main part. If there's nothing happening in here, you're just playing jack. You're just not playing accordingly. You're just fucking hoping and holding. Excuse my French, but I mean, sometimes I get pissed off when I see someone just doesn't really want to listen and have a plan. Yeah, but SNOA, and we couldn't play that, but we did play the beautiful DRCT, which was a solid play. And on Wednesday, the stock ripped off from our call, as you can see here. Um, it was nice. It was very nice. We hit the second PT, and a lot of people just try to. I mean, I was personally looking to this VWAP to just hold above, and which it did, and then it break through it. And the max PT happened right on my resistance, which is. I mean, when you know your level, when you know your support and resistance, that's a basic thing in trading. When you know those, you're fine. You don't have to add so many garbage indicators into your chart. Like, I know a lot of people using so many stuff, but I mean, I personally use statistics for the trade, but I can show you how it works in a session if you wanna talk to me with it. But in general, you only need your volume and chart. I do really see importance of VWAP and some of these EMAs. But they're just there to help you out to see better, but not trade better. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason that you can have have a good trade is just is your it's your level two and your value. Yeah. So yeah, we had this DRCT. I'm just gonna quickly go over all that, and then Thursday, yesterday, we had sales. That was a quick one too. Very nice. I was expecting more on sales, honestly. I was expecting this to really break this area, but my goal was to buy lower at certain level, and I didn't want to really like I always say, I don't like to add to the losing trade. But if you see a necessity to, I mean, if you have a plan, if you see a setup that you can add to the to the mm, good setup to adding to your position, um, it's not a problem. So CELZ was one of those play that I was personally want to see more on it, but we took whatever we could, and was very slow. I was expecting, because I mean, COZ in the past, I saw this stock ripped off to the five, but this is like pump and dump strategy again. We see all these crap happening again. I think COG was one of those. Yeah, I can see it here. One of those Chinese biotech, I believe. So these Chinese biotechs are always like that, and you just have to be careful. You just have to don't really um fed yourself up with the stock that, oh, it's gonna go. No, it's always the case. You always have to understand with this pump and down where to enter, where to exit. And with CLEZ, I expected to rip off because it was a low float and you could move fast. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that much. But we took whatever we could. And the next one that we had was CLVS, which was very nice yesterday. CLVS, I personally like this stock, and we took it nicely. I was watching it on the side, and we played it as I expected, the way that I wanted. I don't know how much I can say that, but CLVS was very low risk, higher float. Consider higher float. So when it comes to the but their move on it was pretty much like a meat float to me. But according to Finviz and the bots are saying that CLVS had like maybe I think 100 or something. Yeah, 140 million, 140 million float. So consider high float. And I was expecting to go slower, but it ripped off, and it pays off. What we expected. So COS was very nice. We hit max PT on it easily, and I also want to add the resistance here for the future if we happen to play it again. So yeah, um, yeah. CLVS was nice, and this week was crazy. I mean, everything just hit except HYMC, I believe. That was kind of unfortunate, but you should not expect everything will wins. Is part of the trading journey. And today we had a beautiful HUSN. I mean, usually with the Friday, I don't wanna stay around. I don't really like to do that. But HUSN was very nice. I saw the setup. I saw this volume just coming in, trying to keep the level, and it did. Now I want to take advantage of the deep part, because when you see stock ripped from like the, the after hours like that and like this, and this stock was on the PR. There was a news on it. I think I don't know what it was regarding. It was a private placement or something with the China, or we don't really care. The news was there anyway. And remember, these stocks are on a bad like financial sectors are very tricky. They could be tricky. Yeah, diversified, financial. These are trickies. Yeah, so we played it. I'm hoping that everyone took that profit max level. I lock all my profit at this level which I knew that this could rip up to the 3, and when it resistant, which is a 298 or 3, when the resistant hit, the gap always fill. Remember that the gap always fill to like this one was 319. Gap always fill to 310, 319, and if it's hold, if it's gonna hold that 3 level, you will see another move on it. So every 25 cents, you see another move. So I don't want to dive deep into this stuff. These are the strategies that I teach. So if you want to learn more, hit me up. Yeah. So that was it. Nail and bail done. So one other thing that I want to talk about today is front loading. The term of front loading. What does that mean? When you are having a certain price target, when you are having a certain price entry, um, when you chase and when you want to be sooner than later, um, but your plan is not doing as it's supposed to be, that called front loading. That's kind of my definition of front loading. You never want to do that, because, like, for example, when I put an alert of like for this one for 246, that was my level. I saw this gap. I care about the gap here. 246 is important to break out, solid break. 246. It's better if you buy 1 cent above that 246 to see the gap fill, and if it's break and it pull back instantly, that's a red flag. You kind of want to manage your position and get out. But for so many cases, when you are filling the gap, when you are filling the level, and when you see that on your level 2 again, there's a massive push into the level, into the bid. Um, you know that there is a massive buy will come, and there's increase in your volume. When you see all those signs comes together, you gotta see everything. You gotta have all these criteria next to each other before making any trade. So for my alerts are always my levels are always into the area that it's a gap fill, and I want this to break and be into play. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's okay if you kind of get out and re-enter again at some level, but it's always good to have your plan. And if you see like one touch doesn't go, second touch, you kind of have to see that pattern shaped, the higher low level or lower high if you're on the short side, so whatever. So it's very important. Keep in mind that this front loading thing, it's a dangerous thing that I had it in my beginning of trading journey. Front loading is dangerous. Don't ever do that. When you front load on a play, when someone experience it, see that level, because you're dealing with institutionals, you're dealing with hedge funds, you're dealing with a lot of smart monies that are trading. They look for a certain level. So if you grab those certain level, you're on the right side of the trade, so you can make money out of it. But if you're behind of it and you see fake out, uh, you're screwed up. So you don't want to be that person. And front loading is just not something that you should do, because with front loading, you always want to kind of like be smarter, but which you're not. It's always good to have your level. Make sure your level rich or breakthrough, then put your order in. So that's what I always mention, that do not front load, and always, as always, lock in your profit. Lock in your profit to the strength. Take some off. Put it on the side. You don't want to. If you day trade, and if you swing trade all these patterns, you're already screwing up, because these are not the pattern that you should really what is it, like, trade swing, unless there is a reason behind. For me, when it comes down to swing, I will tend to looking at the fundamental a little bit as well, but I mean, suing is. I mean, if you're suing it for a month or a year, yeah, you always have to look at the fundamental. But if you're suing it for 1 or 2 days, your technical should be fine. So you don't necessarily need that fundamental. So I think that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We had a really good talk with you guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this and learn something out of it. And feel free to reach out to me. With I mean, you can send me a DM. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to be part of the Flash Fun. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.